Bog. Oh hey, we got a larva. Okay, I don't know why I went up to double Forktail. Double Forktail is probably nonsense. I mean, the deck has an opening that it likes to do. I don't know. Just like monsters decks want to jam in a Dragon Larva. Like, a deck's ideal turn 1 is going to be pretty repetitive. It's true for just about everything. Opening be less than 20 points. That's fair, I suppose. You don't like the way the deck is good? What do you mean? I'm gonna do this. I still got my Thrive on the Brooks up. I don't know if that thing's gonna grow, and I don't want to bleed the long ship. It just does a little of everything. Sure. I don't know, the deck has, like, plans to it. Like, it wants to have, like, Crown Splitter pockets in a round. It doesn't have that much good removal. It's got Philippa, it's got Drill, but aside from that, it's got a bunch of, like, deal 3s. Like, it has its weaknesses. You don't like the Drill pocket so efficiently. Feels a bit bad design-wise. I don't know, I'm pretty sure that's intentional. Like, because it was so hard to get a Crown Splitter pocket before. Now, whether there are better ways of solving that than, like, a super efficient high-end card that makes a pocket pretty naturally. Like, would it have been a better idea to just make more playable Crown Splitter cards that are also units? I don't know. But, like, needing a pocket of units is always going to be awkward in a deck that wants to play a ton of specials. You're doing alright, Goldenberg. And if I just get Ruptured, oh, sweet. The drill represents a lot of damage for how cheap it is. I feel like if I were to point at one thing in the deck that probably shouldn't be as impactful as it is, it would probably be the drill. Feels a little too cheap for how much removal it does. But, like, I also thought Ewald was a really messed up card while Ewald was good. Just, like, cards that are able to answer multiple threats in one turn tend to be really good in Gwent. Man, I want to pass here. Playing Holger. Drill's definitely not free, but at 6 provisions, it represents a lot. Okay, let's try to bleed the ice. Playing Mata here is kind of sketchy. Oh. Okay, let's not lose my larvas. I would argue Drill probably should be competing with your top end for how versatile that it is. Like, while it's not free, it still represents a ton of removal. And you can make it live on, like, turn 2 of the round, if you just lead Cleaver. It's not like it's removal that you can't play early. Can't really bleed much more than this. Well, guess we got his Herald. Is he not playing Iced? Did I just bully a poor pirate friend? Oh no, please draw Koshchey. No. No. Yep. Nope. There's an Iced. There's an Iced. I think I get this in leader. I give him a slightly better leader target, but I mean, I also get a larva. Like, what else would I be doing if I didn't do this? You can also just sort of shores up the monster's short round by giving you, like, that good Azrael target. There's nothing that replaces Yigern's role in the faction. Like, if you want to get away from Yigern, what are you doing? Just completely foregoing having a short round? Pro rank is so cool. Easiest money of my life. Just so miserable. Is there any incentive to play pro rank? Nope. Not unless you're trying to push for qualifiers. What? You do lose something when he dies. But other things enable Azrael too. Like him dying usually adds, what, like 5 points to your Azrael? You'd almost always rather have your Yigern live. Hungry Crimes was a completely different deck than this. This is like definitely the only like new full deck that we got with the patch. Like this is completely different than anything anyone was playing in any time recent. I mean, Elder kind of wants you to go Devotion pretty bad. And going Devotion monsters is kind of miserable. You just lose to random shit. You don't really have enough points, and you don't have the interaction to justify it. Or read the monster's card beside you, you're gonna go, yeah. Yeah, I think that's a cool design. Feels very monstersy. I don't think there's anything wrong with like some cards making cards look dumb. Safecracker is just one of those things that rewards you for playing crimes. Larva instead of Yigern. That's the thing, strictly worse versions in certain archetypes, which makes them not strictly worse. Because you have to play that archetype. It's not strictly worse. Elves don't boost Safecracker. Crimes boost Safecracker. strictly less efficient. I mean, this is true assuming that a crime card is as good as an elf card. The crimes have as much support as elves. Like, that's the thing, right? Like, nothing in a card game exists in a vacuum. It's a product of the rest of the cards that make up its archetype. Such a Yu-Gi-Oh thing to say. What? What is that even supposed to mean? Oh, wait. This trigger's a 5. I could have taken this trigger. I could have killed the drill first. My bad. I mean, maybe they revisit Vanguard or Elite at some point, but I don't think there's anything problematic about there being a card that looks strictly better than other cards, but with different card types attached to it. I'm telling Venendel Elite is an unplayable card. Like, you do see it pop up in decks from time to time. Same thing with Braihead Vanguard. The Braihead Vanguard requiring you to play like a deck entirely Elves is its own problem. The thing is, like, Halfling Safecracker is one of the big things that attracts you to playing a deck full of crimes. But that's not really true for Tactics or Elves. Those are just additional cards that happen to be a part of the Elves deck or a part of the Tactics deck. Where Vanguard isn't supposed to be the exciting card, Safecracker is supposed to be the exciting card. Triple Duel still good? Shield Wall? Not particularly. You don't see a whole lot of Shield Wall. It's 5 coins. Just get Goyat here. And then last play the Azrael. No, that's the thing. You can't compare when the text is so similar. You can't compare across archetypes like that. You shouldn't, then. Forktail for Arachas Swarm. Yeah, and there's a lot of matchups where you end up getting, like, 7 for 4 on your Forktail anyway. Yeah, the buff to Shakedown and Dip was very big. That's another thing that made the deck playable, for sure. Larva, very fast, yeah, but I think Larva's fine. Like, I don't think they have to change Larva. Larva as a monsters card seems fine. It fits into the themes that monsters plays towards. It's just one of those rewards you get for playing monsters. You forego having good control options to get to play Literal and Drega Larva. Like, it's fine for some things to be overtuned. Cards are allowed to be good. It's just decks shouldn't be allowed to do everything. Decks should have weaknesses. And, like, monsters decks have weaknesses. Well, it's not, right? You need to be playing a lot of units. Like, Kelly can't play in Drega Larva. Arachas Swarm doesn't tend to play in Drega Larva. There's deck building cost to Larva, too. It's not just you play the Monsters faction and it's guaranteed to go into the deck. But it's very good in the decks that it goes in. Sinolian mentioned Larva, that's why I'm bringing it up. Yeah, I don't know what side you were arguing for, but I just wanted to elaborate on the position. I mean, I want to still play. This didn't actually get him ahead, right? He's trying to bait me. I think he's trying to bait me. Yeah, one is clearly better. I agree. Safecracker is a better card than Venendel Elite and the 7-power Dwarf and the Elf. I will agree with you. But that's fine. Like, not every card should be equally powered. And saying strictly better has other implications. Well, that turned around fast. I guess I didn't really take into account that he had a bunch of thrives. Yeah, I mean, we can... I wouldn't want to get into a Peasant Militia's role. Is Peasant Militia even in any of the starter decks anymore? Don't think Wolfpack is. Peasant Militia used to be a very respectable bronze, playable in all sorts of sheep decks. Okay, I think auto include is going a little far, but Wolfpack was a very good card that saw a lot of play. The nice thing about Wolfpack is when your opponent went Nekker, you could play Wolfpack, and then they thrived their Nekker, and you could play another Wolfpack, and you'd be able to kill both of their Nekkers. It was broken. Wee. You don't believe me? Yes, it's true. It sounds silly, but it is true. How do I just... I'll do this, fine. He might just jam Defender, but... If he jams Defender, he's jamming it melee, which means there wouldn't be a defended Oriana. This is all fine. We can beat all this nonsense. Why not Corinthier? I'd rather have the Larva the turn that I Corinthier. Just in case something silly happens, like a Toad Prince on my Koshchey. Looking back, early Homecoming was really bad. You didn't really have to look back. I think we all knew at the time that early Homecoming was really bad. I don't think that would have been a hot take even in September of 2018. November of 2018. Oh. I guess I'm just meleeing you. Do I need to ranged my... I guess I need to ranged my thing. I guess I'll ranged my thing. Do you guys think he's an Igni friend? And by an Igni friend, I mean a Yurden friend? Oh, apparently not. Sure. I think he's probably under the rug. Which I guess means that he's not on the camera. Hey, Schnauzberger. Pickpocket. Line pockets again. Literally 50% of our games. What is it on Pro Rank right now? 22%? 23%? In the top 100? That is kind of crazy. That's a pretty high play rate. I could Nero for my Derogare. This could have also gone click Phantom, play Striga. That could have been a line. Let's keep this engine though. If he tries to play Pontar, he's losing coins. Let's just do this. Works the original ability being really weird, like Deathblow, Gain, Thrive. I think so. That sounds right. Philip would be devastating. If you wanted to Philip with me, you could have just done it last turn, right? Pretty sure he just doesn't want to play Philip around one. It's not like Philip is ever not going to be devastating, right? Like, we play literal Koshchey. If you want to talk about devastating Philippas, they'll get plenty of those in round 3. Yeah, like, he wasted 4 coins to kill our thing. Does that mean he doesn't have a spender? Be hard for Kosh. Look, there's a lot of things that can go wrong in this matchup. Drill is hard to beat. Philippa is hard to beat. The deck has a pile of points. Okay, so we had no spender. That's good, that's good. Don't forget about Horson. I want to forget about Horson. I don't want to think about Horson. Forktail's in a Swarm deck? Because the things that swarm with armor, so who cares if you Forktail them? Like what, you're gonna damage the larva? You're gonna damage your Koshchey? You're gonna damage Kikimore Worker? This is a Nero number 2. I kinda like this. Just jam this, get the Yigrin down. Gets me dominance for the turn 4 too. Yeah, sure. Yeah, in this matchup, Forktail's not great. So we got his drill. Now it's just Philippa that we're really worried about. Nice for a wholesome 6. And like when you hit a matchup that Forktail's good in, Forktail's gonna be nuts, right? Like it's a 4P card that flips the AQ matchup on its head. Plays for a ton of points against Elves. For the 10 AQ players out there. A couple days ago, it was the only thing we could queue into. We queued into like 5 AQ decks 3 days ago, 4 days ago. It was everywhere. AQ is Arachas Swarm. He's kind of popular on Pro, yeah. My understanding was that AQ is the monsters deck of choice for a lot of people this season. Let's get rid of it. Okay. That was like the dream. Amazing. Well, there goes that threat. Well, his hand was probably like Jacques Gord Philippa, and he just had to pick which one he thought was the worst. Decided Philippa was the worst. Or Jacques Cleaver Philippa, something like that. Oh man, Safecracker's so good! That actually is kind of good. He still has 2 crimes in hand. It's probably not good for him. I guess we do this now. It should always die, right? He has 2 crimes. Surely one of the crimes is gonna deal 5. Yeah, that's a pretty silly take, dude. People are gonna copy decks in card games. Not everybody wants to build their own deck. One of the big things that makes people want to build the decks too is to get other people to copy them. Share their experiences. Am I not in any team? Just don't have a reason to be in a team. I can show you where the tortoise is. Let's see. Oh, I think he moved away. Oh wait, no, there he is. You can sort of see him. I guess I'll leave it up. He's by the vent. Oh hey, we queued AQ. It's finally Forktail's time to shine. Yeah, we played some Crimes the day after patch day, I think. Should be on YouTube. Just look there. I mean, it does add noise, but not enough to substantially bring down win rates versus, like, bad decks. Like, the more refined decks, the better decks are still going to win most of the time. That's why they're the refined decks. What did you add a lock to the deck? Arachas is a great card in this deck. It triggers your Thrive really well if you're breaking Devotion anyway. Probably want to put this in just about every Thrive heavy deck. It's a really good card. Sure, that's true. Metagames won't develop, so won't be able to build decks that are heavy on answers. But I don't think that necessarily means that win rates are going to shift closer to 50-50. I think it just means the better proactive decks will be what everyone wins with. Or will be what the winningest players win with. And like, if you're playing a better proactive deck than your opponent, you're going to win most of the time. Forktail too good to play this round. I just don't know if I need to win round 1. I don't know. Plays for a bajillion here. Plays for a bajillion, but doesn't get ahead. Oh. No bleed round 2. Yeah, that's fine. They're Jordan friends? Oh, that'd be scary. I hope not. The thing is, like, it doesn't even come down to Q roulette, right? Like, Q roulette's what you get when decks are refined. When decks aren't refined, you end up with, like, Rock, Paper, Exodia, where one deck just beats everything. Because all the decks, most of the decks people are playing on ladder are garbage. So anything that's good is going to be good against most of the things you queue into. Just because the brews people come up with tend to be bad. Whereas it's the net decking that, like, allows for that rock, paper, scissors, where you have 3 different refined decks that are good against one another. And because of people iterating, you have that RPS dynamic. Yeah, sure. Surprise value nonsense gets better, for sure. Ah, fuck. Okay, well, that's pretty good. Easy. Where's the turtle? He's under the rug. There's the Johnny Spike stuff. Would recommend everyone read about that if they're interested in it. Though I don't know how much relevance that has here, the discussion we're currently having. Sort of. It's more about, like, the types of cards that they like to play with. Good enough. There's always a good deck people haven't yet found. That could be true. That's true a lot of the time, for sure. Let's get rid of this. Current their targets. Koshchey. Yeah. That's scary. Oh. What? No. There's times like at the end of a season. It's not until the end of the season where new competitive decks are found. Like, how long did it take to find this AQ deck? It's definitely the case that most seasons there are decks that would be competitive in a meta that just weren't found in time to be relevant. I think I'm dead. Maybe not. I'm gonna aim a card down. It's probably not a good start. Not necessarily. I mean, look at how long the Clog deck wasn't being played with Nova, and then all of a sudden, the last week of the season, people realized that the Nova variant was really strong. Like, we never get to see what developments would have happened past the end of the season, because the season ends. But there's very often changes that happen near the end of a season. Just Forktail? It's just Forktail. What do you got? Super wholesome. Emerges isn't really new, it's just it's good now. I mean, I feel like the Nova deck wasn't that at all. It just was a good deck. I don't think there was anything about the specific metagame that happened at the end of that format that made that Nova deck better. It just was a deck that people hadn't fully considered until some good scores were set with it. It was 2 seasons ago, right? But yeah. It was end of January, I think that deck emerged. Should probably put this melee like not a monkey. How did Tortoise get under the rug? Just dug himself under. That's what he does. There weren't very many Purifies that entire season. Also, the deck sort of overloads the Purifies, because you want Purify for Defender as well. But like the Colgrim decks in general didn't want to be seeing Defender, or didn't want to be seeing Purify. Should have put this over here. Kiki worker on range would still trigger exposed. Yeah. That'd be pretty silly if you could play around this card's drawback by just putting it ranged. I don't think this is intended to be an armor engine where you're getting some extra value out of the armor. slipped by. I mean, to be fair, I put it on the range throw pretty rarely. There's a chance that it doesn't die. It's been a long time since I've tested the interaction. For all we know, it got bugged at some point. I already played an eagle, right? Don't really need the squirrel. That's pretty good. This deck doesn't crush Swarm anyway. Was it Nekker also really garbage in the current meta? Wait, I feel like I'm getting gaslit. I feel like every deck just murders Nekker. I guess Crimes only has like Pontar and Drill, but like this deck plays Marauders and Marauders, Raiders, Hunters. ST has like Matic nonsense to where you want the armor. Like, Forktail's just fine. I don't know. Like, even here, Forktail would be fine. Like, trigger the Thrive. Play for 6. Roughly. In theory, is it good in theory? I don't think Ghoul's very good. I don't think a 9 for 6 is a very good rate. You see Bomber occasionally. What's this deck been doing? Let's see. So we lost our first 2 games against Line Pockets and haven't lost since. No universe where this lives. I mean, Forktail definitely looks weird, but just seems solid. I don't know. It's a 4P card that flips matchups. Like, it makes matchups like Elves and Swarm, which are otherwise kind of bad, into much, much better matchups. Where Nekker takes matchups that are kind of hard, makes them worse. Wait, it lived? Okay. It depends. Near the start of the patch, people ask about whatever new cards or whatever balance changes a lot. Towards the end of the season, it's usually just like, why aren't you in pro rank, is the repeating question. I really thought he wasn't going to respect the Koshchey. Yikes. This is short, right? Sad.